Think about a time when you've said to yourself, I could do my manager's job. Or when somebody with less experience than you is in a much better position than you, making more than you. Or someone with as much experience as you is in a better position than you or making more than you. Why is that? I found when I look back on my own career and I even study the careers of our clients who've been able to make these crazy jumps, it always boils down to three things. When I started off, and if you don't know anything about my career, when I started off, I didn't go to an extremely well reputable college. I went to a small state school. I didn't come from an affluent family. If anything, my parents were middle class at best. I didn't have the most connections. I didn't go to some MBA school like Harvard MBA. When I started off, my first job was selling Yellow Page ads, and I know that dates me so far back, but I was selling Yellow Page ads. And for the first 6 years of my career, I had 10 different jobs, oddball sales jobs, things like that. And then by the time I was in my extremely early 30s, I had become an executive of a publicly traded company, making close to seven figures in total compensation. And I know for a fact there were so many people, because they even told me, who thought and believed, and maybe rightfully so, that they should have been in that role. Why not them? And I think back also as some of our clients who were stuck at 150K for 6, 7 years. And now all of a sudden they're in a 2, 3, 400K role. Somebody who's been stuck in a director role, now they're in a VP, SVP role. In my scenario, their scenario, it always comes down to three things. The person who's stuck and hasn't been able to move tells themselves usually, I haven't been able to do it, so I probably won't. But the person who is doing it tells themselves, I just haven't been able to do it yet, but I can figure out how to do that. There's a big difference between I can't do it and I just haven't done it yet. So the first thing that somebody who is in a who has less experience than you is doing more than you, the first thing that they do differently or that they have is what I consider to be an extremely like a delusional optimism. And I say delusional because anytime you are doing something or you set out to do something, an endeavor or chase a goal that you've never done, whether it be start a company and try to make $1 million, whether it be try to get a VP role, whether it be make 500,000, 200,000, when you're setting out to do something that you've never done, that you've never seen, that you've never experienced, there has to be a level of delusional optimism somewhere in there where you say to yourself, I can do it. I just haven't done it. So now I just have to figure it out. Whereas again, the person who's stuck says, I can't do it. I haven't done it. So I probably won't be able to do it. And coincidentally, the three things are actually in the shape of a triangle. So we call it the framework here is what's called the triangle of despair and the triangle of prosperity. So it always starts first and foremost with an unshakable or a delusional belief that you can do the thing that you want to do that you still haven't been able to do yet. Because what you choose to believe directly impacts the actions that you take. So the person who is further ahead than you is just taking different actions. Whereas what most people who stay stuck, it's because they always do the same things over and over and over again. They sit there and just apply to job boards, or they never advocate for themselves, or they don't go and seek that promotion, or they stay at one company for far too long. And before you know it, they feel extremely underpaid or undervalued, underutilized. They know that they're capable of more. They just haven't been able to do it because they're doing the same things over and over, or in some cases, not doing something different. So first is believing that you can have a different result. And then knowing you just have to figure that out, which then completely dictates the actions that you take. And then the actions that you take directly reflect the results that you get. And the results that you get reinforce your original belief, right? So think of it like this: half-assed belief lead to half-assed actions, and half-assed actions lead to half-assed results, which then reinforce the original belief. And like a simple example you can look at that's a practical example of this triangle of despair or triangle of prosperity is a diet. Maybe you or someone you know, think of a time where you're like, you know what? I'm going to try this diet out. I think I'm going to try to get into shape. I just know that I haven't really been able to commit to them before, or I don't know if this is really going to actually work for me, but let me give it a shot. So, right there, it's not a delusional optimism, right? There's not that much confidence that you can actually achieve the goals from this diet. So maybe 2 weeks go by, 3 weeks go by, and you start veering off track a little bit. You start having these cheat meals more than you should. Another week goes by, and now you're having 3, 4, 5 meals per day or whatever, and not following the diet. So those are now you're taking poorer actions because you're going directly against the actions you should be taking in to achieve the goal of that diet. So now the results that you get are extremely half-assed or no result at all, which then reinforces your original belief that I couldn't really stick to. See, I knew I couldn't stick to this diet. I don't know why I tried. Maybe I'll try again in a year from now. So the people who are ahead of you are just doing something different.